My amendment makes 3 changes to strengthen the provisional registration framework. Now, the bill has been through a lot of changes over the past days, and I'm sure many on the subcommittee would say over the last night. But I want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can in this moment. And so, as we discuss the notice of intent to register in Title I of the bill, this provisional framework, registration framework, is going to be the primary regulatory framework for the crypto industry until the CFTC and SEC complete their rulemaking for registration, likely over 2 years. Therefore, it is imperative that we act today to make sure that the provisional registration framework is as robust as possible. We must ensure that the framework that governs crypto over the next 2 years is one that empowers our financial regulators, brings transparency to the market, and protects consumers. My amendment would make important advances in all of these areas. First, it requires that anyone trying to file a notice of intent to register must do so with a physical address. If you aren't deep in the weeds on this, such a requirement seems so common sense that it hardly seems worth mentioning. But in a new, unregulated industry, some actors over the past few years have honestly made the claim that they don't have an address and therefore are not subject to the jurisdiction of the place they are living and working in. With my amendment, that practice would end. Digital asset exchanges and brokers could choose not to file a notice of intent to register, but then they would be subject to enforcement action for failing to register. With my amendment, we ensure that people play by the rules and that regulators and consumers know what laws digital asset exchanges and brokers operate under. Second, my amendment would increase market transparency and provide customers with additional information by requiring digital asset exchanges and dealers, when filing their notice of intent to register, to provide information about the specific characteristics of the digital assets they list or offer. It is likely an understatement to say that right now there are thousands of different kinds of digital assets in the world. When it comes to physical commodities, the assets are pretty well understood. We aren't in the habit of discovering new physical commodities like gold or wood and listing them on the exchange, but with digital assets, a single programmer could create a new one over the course of a weekend and could get it launched within a month. Considering the ease with which new digital assets are created, the lack of tangible knowledge about what each one is, it is essential that brokers and exchanges explain the specific characteristics of each of their digital assets. With my amendment, customers and regulators would be able to see for each digital asset listed on an exchange or offered by a broker information like the use case of the token, the financial history of the token, its distribution across its holders, and more. With my amendment, customers will be able to actually know what these digital assets are and why they're listed and offered to trade. Finally, my amendment enhances customer disclosures. Over the past few years, we've seen exchanges go down and customers not know whether or not their digital assets are recoverable. This not only creates confusion and chaos in the market, which has a ripple effect beyond the failed exchange, but in some cases it leaves customers without the knowledge about how to recover their funds, if doing so would even be possible. We've also seen individuals have their personal devices hacked and their digital assets stolen. While some were able to recover their stolen funds, no doubt the vast majority didn't even know how to begin the process of trying to recover their digital assets. All of this is why disclosures about the custody of the digital asset are important and why my amendment ensures that this information is provided to all customers. My amendment also requires that digital asset exchanges and brokers provide customers disclosures about the CFTC Anti-Fraud and Anti-Manipulation Authority and how to enact them if customers see violations. During the provisional registration period, the primary enforcement mechanism will still be the CFTC's Anti-Fraud and Anti-Manipulation authorities. Enforcement action brought under these authorities almost always begins by someone bringing a potential violation of the CFTC. With my amendment, we ensure that customers always have this information in the back of their heads and know who to call if they see something suspicious. So taken together, I believe my amendment significantly enhances enforcement authority, transparency in the market, and consumer protections. These are the rules that will regulate the crypto industry in the interim before CFTC and SEC write their final rules, we have a duty to our constituents to make sure that they are tough and fair. I know my colleagues have some amendments dealing with this provisional registration framework, and I hope we can continue working together through this markup to strengthen the rules that will immediately be in effect. My amendment cracks down on crypto companies who disregard these rules, shines sunlight on murky fly-by-night assets, and empowers customers. With that, I yield.
Gentlelady